Hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen. You know what? It is the holiday season. We all know it, and I am knee deep in birthday season as well. Yvonne is turning 18 years old. So not only am I going to show you me undecorating to decorate to undecorate, I'm going to tell you some of the foibles that happen behind the scenes. These are the things I don't tend to see on a lot of videos. You know, you watch things, they look so good. You watch Pinterest and you think, oh my goodness, I can do this. It's going to be perfect. And it never, ever is. So I'd like to give you the real behind the scenes look today. But first, before I can even get started, I had fallen behind on folding laundry. This is like 3 loads of laundry, and wait till you see all of the towels that I am folding. I went around to bedrooms and bathrooms and gathered up all the towels because I can always tell when we start to run thin that people aren't bringing their towels down. So I got everything washed, everything dried, and I want to get it all folded up before I even start. You might remember in my last video for Thanksgiving, I showed you that we did a movie night, and I'm doing movie theme nights, and so we did the Christmas movie Elf on Thanksgiving, and I did a little decorating in the living room, which you're going to see again because you're going to watch me take it down because I need to get things taken down so I can decorate them and put them up for Yvonne's birthday so I can take them down to get ready to do our Christmas decorate. So we have 2 more family birthdays this year, my son Christian, his wife Beth, but they live out in the Indianapolis area, kind of between Indianapolis and Chicago. So they won't be here for Christmas. And I used to wait until my son Christian's birthday was on December 3rd. I would wait to do my Christmas decorating, and I would do it immediately following his birthday. But now I can do that immediately following Yvonne's birthday, which is November 25th. So she's at work, and I really want to get everything decorated and surprise her when she gets home. I'm also taking a bit of a risk because I am going to be baking cupcakes, and it is a recipe I have never tried before, so we'll see how that goes. And between the laundry and what you'll see next, I actually had gone to Family Dollar and Dollar General because I needed to see what they had for birthday decorations. Basically, I picked everything they had that was pink because she loves pink, and then I thought when I get it home, I'm just going to figure it out. So I was kind of focused on pink and silver because those are 2 colors she really likes. So I'm also wrapping her presents in silver, and I'm going to try to give you a drop picture because I thought I brought these to the camera. I don't know, but I got her some hot pink Ugg boots, hot pink Ugg slides. Look at Leo over there at the window. Isn't that so cute? And then I also got her a powder blue Nike hoodie. She just loves her a hoodie. So I'm getting these wrapped very quickly, and then we can get to decorating. And for some reason, I cut that one shy, so I'm just kind of piecing it together, making sure it's on the bottom. There will be nothing perfect in this video. I don't know if it was me being in a hurry, me being in a bit of a funk, or what the heck was happening, but oh my goodness, what a day. But it all works out in the end. It doesn't have to be perfect to make someone happy and to let them know that they're loved. Oh, here's the Uggs. Yep, I guess I did show you the boots. We'll get those wrapped, and I will try to drop a picture of the hoodie that I got at Kohl's and then the other Ugg slides that I got at Foot Locker, and she works at Foot Locker. And the funny thing is, I don't know why, but I always call it athlete's foot instead of calling it Foot Locker. And I really don't mean to. I don't know. It's just very funny. I can't believe that Uggs are back in style. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the styles, but they are hot, hot, hot. My next goal after getting these presents wrapped is going to be getting the cupcakes in the oven so that they have plenty of time to cool, and I can make the frosting and get them frosted and looking pretty. So as I said, it's a brand new recipe. We got these disposable cupcake holders because I was going for easy peasy lemon squeezy, and so I didn't have enough pink cupcake liners, so I ended up using white as well. And it's a funny thing, I found this really great recipe online, and then I thought I had the same recipe again, but it actually was that they were using the same picture for the chocolate cupcakes. And what I did was I just Googled gourmet chocolate cupcakes, and then I looked for one that looked moist. I bought buttermilk because I was buying buttermilk for the recipe I thought I had. when it didn't take buttermilk at all because I was on a completely different recipe and I didn't notice, but it does have sour cream in it, so that kind of helps it to be moist. And so I had to buy these unsweetened chocolate squares, and I didn't check my recipe, so first foible was I got it home and I realized it's 4 ounces and I needed 5 ounces for this recipe. So thankfully, Robin got himself in a car and went out to get me another block. And so you don't see it on the video, but what I end up doing is when I have all the batter made, I just melted another ounce and I added it to the batter. So, you know, baking is more forgiving than you might think. Sometimes it feels like if you do anything not according to the directions, which works out great since I pretty much did nothing according to directions, things can still come out good. It said to finely chop the chocolate, which was really hard to do. So I said, how about a potato peeler? I'm going to use a potato peeler and do it that way. But that was taking just as heckin' long. So I decided, nope, I'm going to go back to my knife. That actually does feel easier. I think it took about a half an hour for me to chop up the 4 ounces of bittersweet baking chocolate. And I'm also boiling water on the stove, because what you're going to do is you're going to be adding the baking chocolate to the cocoa powder. They say to use Dutch processed cocoa. I didn't have that, so I'm just using my Hershey's cocoa, which they did not recommend. They had vinegar in the recipe, and they said don't add the vinegar if you don't have the right kind of chocolate. So I did not add the vinegar, even though I have a chocolate wonder cake that I make that does have vinegar in it. You definitely do not taste the vinegar. It just helps it to rise mixed with baking soda, and there is also baking soda in this recipe. The other thing I did that wasn't in the recipe, Yvonne is not a big fan of dark chocolate. This also has espresso powder in it, so that just kind of made it taste even darker. So I added, you'll see me later, add some semi-sweet chocolate chips to the mix, because I thought that'll kind of mix it up a little bit so it doesn't seem like dark chocolate. The other thing I will say is the espresso powder didn't really come through on the flavor. I could taste it in the batter, but once the cupcakes were cooked, I really couldn't taste it, but it did make it seem more, the chocolate seemed more intense, so maybe that was the job. But if you want to taste coffee, you definitely need to add more. So I just quickly showed you, it was Starbucks powder, and it was actually powdered coffee. I don't think it was actually espresso. I'm kind of using what I have because we would not eat, or why would we eat it? No, we would not drink espresso. So I thought, I'm just going to use what we have. We had some Starbucks instant coffee, and I thought, well, Starbucks is pretty strong coffee, but maybe I should have put in 2 teaspoons. I don't know. And then the other thing, this is the cocoa powder. It's 1/3 of a cup of cocoa powder. And then I'm going to be taking the boiling water, and I'm going to be pouring the boiling water over the chocolate and coffee combination. For you cat lovers, picture me shooing Leo off the counter 100 times, and then Woozy hears him on the counter, hears all the hubbub. He decides to come out, and he decides that he would really like to eat. If I'm making food on the island, he might as well eat. He starts meowing loudly, and he's rubbing up against my leg, and then Leo keeps jumping on top of the island. It was just chaos. It's so funny because here I have older kids and I don't have to worry about such things. And now my cats are just not letting me do anything. So now in a separate bowl, I have 3/4 of a cup of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of fine salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and then 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar. And I decided to whisk it, but it was really stupid to put the packed sugar in there because honestly, it's packed. What makes me think that I can just use my sifter? I said whisk, but I meant sift, and sift it through. So I finally gave up and just threw it in the bowl, and then I'm just smushing it with my fork and giving it a good mix. So now to my chocolate mixture, I am adding 1/2 cup of sour cream. I had light sour cream. It should have been full fat, so don't get that light sour cream if you're going to do this. You could also use full fat yogurt, and then 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I had canola oil, and I thought I won't tell the batter if you don't. And then I'm adding 2 large eggs and 1 egg yolk at room temperature. And then it would be 2 teaspoons of white vinegar, but because I didn't use the proper cocoa, I'm not adding that. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have imitation. I bet it would be so good if you use the real stuff. Now, here's my issue. It did not say to beat this. However, because I decided to do it's told me to do the melting of the chocolate and all that first, I would recommend you not doing that. It said to leave it for 5 minutes, so they must want it to cool down some, but it definitely cooled down too much, so it's like I'm supposed to be whisking it. There's no whisking this because it had hardened up again. So then I thought, okay, this isn't going to work. And then you're supposed to be adding it to the flour mixture, actually adding the flour mixture to it. And I thought, okay, I'm getting out my standing mixer. It also said mix it as little as possible. So to be perfectly honest, I know I overmixed this to make sure it was blended. I got a little weirded out because I still had little pieces of that dark chocolate in there, but I wish I would have thought through that that's going to melt in the cupcake in the oven. So as long as the flour is incorporated, I think don't even worry about it. I know I overmixed it. I felt like the cupcake was a little bit dry. It wouldn't pass, a baking competition, but everyone in the family thought they tasted amazing, and they thought they were still amazing. And I didn't tell them what I had done wrong because honestly, that just invites someone to tell you that they agree with you. So the batter I just tasted, it tastes amazing. And it's going to taste even more amazing when I add these chocolate chips. These are mini chocolate chips. I was glad I had minis in the house. We use those for pancakes because they're easier to use in a pancake. You don't get these big burn marks. So I just dumped some in. It was probably about a half a cup. And it didn't look like a lot of batter to me. But even though it said 15 cupcakes, but it said to fill them, I think that said 3/4 of the way full. I think in the end, I ended up filling it a little bit more than that. It was fine. The cupcakes didn't know. They were no worse for wear. And so I am just putting them in my little cupcake thingamabobbies. And then I preheated both of my ovens to 350 degrees. That's the best part of having a double oven, is I don't need to put more than one pan in an oven. I'm perfectly content with 12 cupcakes because I really only have 3 people that are going to be eating them. Rachel can't eat them. My husband and I shouldn't eat them, although I did give it a little try. I'm just going to confess that to you right now. I'm putting it in the oven, and I put it in there at 350 degrees for 17 minutes. And then when I went to check them, I felt like they weren't ready. So I do add a little more time. So here I am in the living room. These are my elf decorations from the Elf movie. I'm going to go ahead and take those down, mostly because I don't want Scotch tape. I use Scotch tape. I don't want that on the ceiling 1 minute more than is necessary because I don't want it pulling off the paint. These ceilings have not been painted all that long. Also, I had used thread. So what I should have done is pulled at the thread to loosen the tape. So I did have trouble and I had to use a knife to kind of scrape some of the tape down. Luckily, I didn't take any paint off. Robin's giving me some help as he watches a football game. So there was a couple good games on. He wanted to see Auburn and Alabama, and I think there was another one. I have no idea. I'm not really interested in football, which is why I don't mind blocking the TV. But he did give me some help because he is taller than me, and so that was very nice of him. And I got those down lickety split. I was going to save them because one of the movies we want to do and I would like to decorate for is Narnia. And I thought, oh, I could reuse the snowflakes for Narnia. And then one of my favorite ones ripped, and I was like, all right, never mind. We'll just make new ones, and I threw them away. So you can see, first I'm pulling out all of the snowflakes, and then I rip one and I go, yeah, no, how about no? And I throw them away, check the cupcakes, realize I like to push. If it springs back, it's done. If it doesn't spring back, it's not done. So that way you don't have to stick anything in the cupcake if you just do the touch test. And so I am just checking them. And then guess what I did? See that pot holder right there? I put it on top of the stove. What I didn't realize was I had left the burner on. So I'm taking down our Thanksgiving decor and I'm starting the birthday decor. All the while, I'm smelling something that smells like burning plastic. And I keep checking the oven off camera to see if there's something in the oven. And my focus wasn't the best because my second born son, Christian, had called. It's been a minute since I've gotten to talk to him. The last few times he's called, I haven't been available and my husband has talked to him. So I have my headphones in because I'm talking to him. So I'm not fully concentrated. Now you see this lovely 70s thing. I love this. And I have some flowers to put up, some tissue paper flowers. I can remember making tissue paper flowers with the tissue paper as a kid for the homecoming float in high school. But now they make them so that all you have to do is fluff them. So I'm making those all the while talking to my son on the phone, that's why you see my mouth moving, not realizing that I am burning a pot holder on the stove. So another thing you don't see on camera, so wish I had it on camera, is I finally realized that it was a pot holder on a burner that was on. And I grabbed the pot holder, not realizing it's going to be really hot, and I burned my hand. So then every once in a while I'll go rinse my hand with cold water. It's actually fine. I thought it was going to blister, but it didn't. But boy, it did hurt. I didn't use ice, never use ice on a burn. I didn't use butter. I just used cold water. So 5 minutes later, the cupcakes were done. They look gorgeous. The oven is off, so I don't have to worry about burning anything else. I have my supervisor. He's making sure I don't forget anything else. I apologize to those of you who are grossed out by a cat on the table, but I just think it's so cute how his little head and ears are following literally everything I'm doing. He was with me when I was folding laundry. He was with me when I was wrapping presents, and I'm so used to it, I don't even notice it until I come out and start editing, and then I noticed. Now this was supposed to be floral garland, and at first I thought I would use it that way, but then I do end up cutting the ribbon so that they're individual flowers. I changed my mind a couple times on what I do for decor, but like I said, I just bought everything pink. I come home and I make it work. Where is my husband, you might ask? Well, while I'm doing this, he is watching the football game, but he is also blowing up like 22 balloons that I'm going to be hanging from the ceiling. Not only do I hate blowing up balloons, I'm actually afraid of it because one time for one of the kids' birthdays, I was blowing up a balloon and I had one that was kind of large and I blew it up too much and it popped in my face. And it literally blew up in my eyes and it hurt so bad. I mean, my eyes hurt the whole day, but for a couple of hours, I could not open my eyes. I probably should have gone to the emergency room. I didn't even think about it, but I was really scared that when I opened my eyes, I wouldn't be able to see. So ever since then, I am just not a fan of blowing up balloons. I should probably get some kind of little machine to blow them up, but I was super thankful that he was willing to blow them up, and I don't even usually do balloons, but since I couldn't find a lot of birthday decor, I didn't actually have anything that said happy birthday, and I also usually have those blow up cellophane type numbers, the big large ones, and I was going to put 18 on the wall, but I could not find a 1. I went to 2 different stores and they were all out of the 1 because of course you're going to use a 1 when you're 10, 11, 12, all the teen numbers, right? So it makes sense that they would go out of those first. So here I am testing out a method. Now, here's another story. You see the fringe. Leo pulled it down and then he pulled it down again and then he pulled it down again. And then I finally got smart and I gated him out because after the second time he pulled it down, I gave it a trim with some scissors so that it wouldn't hang down so much. But then he still managed to pull it down again. Well, then the tape wasn't holding. And so because I had retaped it a couple times, I'm using paint tape, and then it fell down on its own. So then I had to devise a method where I taped it like with a band showing at the top, if that makes sense. And I made sure that none of these flowers were actually taped to any of the fringe because the weight of it was pulling the thing down because it was already kind of heavy with the fringe. So in the end, it ended up staying up. But definitely this is one of those days where it's like, oh, this is great. This keeps falling down. I'm burning myself. I couldn't find the things I wanted in the store. I was having a bit of a tough day. So I'm excited that we prevailed. And then I ended up taking the fringe that I cut off and using it as like a table runner. So you're going to see that here in a minute. So I am getting this finished up, even though I completely change it off camera when it keeps falling down. And now we're moving to the balloons, hanging the balloons from the ceiling. And I'm going to show you what everything looks like. Remember, the tablescape is the leftover fringe. And here is what it looked like.
Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños querido, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños querido, cumpleaños feliz.
I had intended to get you some footage when she came home, but she ended up getting home late from work, and so I was dog tired and just trying to kind of keep a stiff upper lip. But everybody loved the cupcakes. She was so thrilled with the room. It went wonderfully. She was very happy. We had a great family night. And now I'm getting everything cleaned up the next day because it is time to start our Christmas decorating. So I'm taking down the flowers. At first I thought I would just throw them away. I mean, they weren't expensive. I got them at Family Dollar, I think. But then I remembered that I'm changing this room this year, and I'm going to do kind of a pink and silver, kind of a nutcracker theme. And I thought, I'm just going to keep them. I end up putting them in a garbage bag gently. I'm going to keep them and just see how that room turns out. That way, I might actually find a use for them with our Christmas decor. So we will just see. What I'm doing here, I'm taking down the balloons, and what I do is at the stem where they're blown up, I kind of stretch it a little bit and I cut right there. I don't cut where the balloon is tightly blown up, and that way they don't actually pop or make a noise. See, I'm going to show you right here. Whoops, come on, Karen. Yep, come on. See, then they just deflate nice and quietly, and I don't devastate anyone, especially since I'm up early. I'm an early bird, and so nobody else is awake. They're just trying to sleep. And there's Leo. He's got my back, and I'm trying to make sure he doesn't eat balloons, but he wanted to see what it was, so I let him see, and I'm putting it all in a garbage bag. And then I'm taking it all down, getting it all put away. I know to pull on the string to get the tape down at the same time as getting the balloon down. I also dusted this light. I show you a little bit of that because the whole time I was dusting the light, I thought my camera was on, and it wasn't. It was not on at all. One thing I do want to say to encourage you this holiday season is the holidays are a lot of work. And honestly, I bet you are one of the people in your family, if not the person in your family, putting in the most work. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to wish it was easier. We all feel like, couldn't this just be easier? But the holidays are a ton of work. But then hopefully, when all is said and done and everybody is feeling happy and loved, it's all worth it. And then we get time to relax. I like to keep my tree up a little extra. It depends on the year. Sometimes I just want to get it gone. But I like to just kind of enjoy the tree at least one morning with a cup of coffee and just look at it all by myself while everyone sleeps the day after Christmas, and just kind of reflect on the holiday season and be relieved that honestly it's over, even though it was fun. So take a lot of pictures so that even if you're too tired to enjoy it as much as you wish, you can look back at the happy memories. But just know it's okay if it's hard. And all of us have losses at this time of year. Make sure that you hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Try not to hold grudges. We never know how much time we have. So it's important to appreciate each one And be gentle with yourself. Try to plan some things that you enjoy. Don't forget to make your favorite foods as you're trying to make everyone else's. So here you see I'm cutting the tape so that they don't stick to each other, because those do tear very, very easily. And then I'm going to put them down in the basement where I have other decor. And then if I don't end up using them, they'll just go in the trash. So I also wanted to mention that YouTube is putting a video up in the upper left corner that they think that you're going to enjoy. So I invite you to click on that video. I'll meet you over there. I'm just getting the rest of the dining room all cleaned up, getting a clean slate again so that we can begin our Christmas decor. And I'm getting the little Thanksgiving decorations off the windows, and it always feels good, even if for 5 minutes. So remember, as always, that God loves you and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.